3.3 notes, and we're going to apply what we've been doing with your solving equations, and we're going to put them into formulas. And I'm really excited about this lesson. We get to do lots of fun things when you get to class on Tuesday to practice these, and it's going to bring it into your real life here. So there's 3 formulas that we're going to practice. There are so many formulas, but these are just the 3 ones we're going to use. If you can find any more formulas and bring them up in class on Tuesday, that would be awesome. So if you can think of another formula, let the class know on Tuesday. There's going to be another opportunity to earn some raffle tickets if you watch this all the way through. So make sure you take some good notes for Tuesday. So let's get started. A formula, if you're not quite sure what I'm talking about here, a formula is something that you follow to get a certain answer for something. So for example, we have the distance formula to start, and this is dealing with how fast you're going and how long it's going to take you is going to help you figure out the distance. So there's a formula that you follow to figure that out, and I think formulas are so nice because if you follow it exactly, you know you're going to get the right answer. So we have distance equals rate times time. So I like to write it d equals RT. And for some reason, I just always think dirt when I see this formula. So bring that up in class tomorrow if you remember it. The distance formula is dirt. So d equals RT. And distance is kind of obvious. It's how far you're going. So think of like a road trip that you take or something like that. So distance, the units you might see when we're dealing with distance would be, you might be going feet, you might be going miles, yards, inches. It depends on where you're going. So those are the key words to look for when you're dealing with distance. Now rate is kind of the same thing as speed in this instance. So think of when you're driving in a car, you see the rate of miles per hour. If you're going feet, you might see like feet per minute or feet per second. Depends on what your distance is. That's going to help you determine your speed or your rate. And then time is also kind of obvious. You could be going in hours, minutes, seconds. They all kind of stay connected in a certain way. So an example you might see, if you're looking for the distance and you're given the rate and the time, you can plug this information into your formula. So I'm looking for D, so that's going to be standing like this. We don't know it. We do know the rate, so in place of the R, we're going to write 60 times time, which is 4. So notice the first step is you take all the information you have and you plug it in to the formula. So right now I'm looking for D. Now this is equation. This is why we're doing this, because we just practiced solving equations. This is nice though because my variable is already all by itself on one side. So I can just simplify my other side. So D equals 60 times 40 is going to give you 240. Now the important part of this, since we're applying it to real life situations, we got to make sure that we have our units. So this is going to be a big hint. If you have miles per hour as your rate, you must be going miles. Alright? So if you're traveling at 60 miles per hour for 4 hours, that means you can go 240 miles. Alright, so that's the first formula. Our second formula is the miles per gallon, and it's a little bit more simple than that. If you want to simplify it, you can write it MPG for miles per gallon equals miles divided by gallons. So the units for this are pretty straightforward because miles, you're going to see miles, and gallons, you're going to see gallons. So a little bit more simple than your distance formula. So let's do an example, and this one is, we're looking for miles per gallon. So I'm going to keep that's missing on this side. And our miles, we're going to go 150 miles on 5 gallons. And I always think of gas when I'm thinking of this. How many miles per gallon can my car go if I have 5 gallons of gas? So I'm going to divide. MPG is already by itself on one side, so I can just simplify by doing 150 divided by 5, and that's going to give us 30. Now always remember those units. So 30 what? Well, this is miles per gallon. So miles per gallon. So think about it. That's pretty good gas mileage nowadays. I'm not quite sure how much my car gets, but if you are watching this and you can tell me, go ask your parents maybe how many miles per gallon their car gets, and I'll give you guys 5 raffle tickets if you tell me that. So if your parents drive a Hummer, they probably don't get very good gas mileage. So go ask them right now what they get if you're watching this. All right, and our last formula is our area formula. So this is usually dealing with rooms or maybe like a garden that you have in the backyard. It's how you find the area of a rectangle. So how much space is in that rectangle. So to do that, you're going to have area equals length times width. So length and width can usually be feet, inches, miles, whatever you want it to be. The most important thing to remember is when you're dealing with area, it's always going to be squared. So if your area is 30 feet, it's actually 30 feet squared, because you have feet times feet is going to be feet squared. So just remember to add that exponent to your answer for area. So let's do an example here. We have area is missing. Our length is 9 times 3. So area equals 27. Now if these are feet, my area is going to be feet squared. So just remember to keep that unit in there. Alright, so there's the basis for your formulas. I wanted to give you a head start into what we're going to be talking about tomorrow and some of the activities we're going to do. You're going to have more word problems tomorrow dealing with formulas. So just to kind of get you going here, it's going to look a little different tomorrow. So the area of my family room is 80 feet squared. The length is 8 feet. What is the width? So the first thing you're going to want to do whenever you have a word problem is figure out, what is it asking? Well, I'm looking for the width. Okay? So the problem is I have the area, I have the length, but I'm missing the width. So then you're going to figure out what formula can I use to solve this problem. So the area that makes, or the formula that makes the most sense would be your area formula. Area equals length times width. So the area they give me already. So my area is going to be 80. The length they give me is 8. And this time I'm missing the width. So that's what I'm looking for. So now this looks like more like an equation that you would solve like we were doing the other day. So you're going to get W by itself. We're going to divide by 8, divide by 8. So W equals 10. And my width is going to be 10 feet. Okay, so that's just an example of what we're going to do tomorrow, so be ready for that. Now, if you've watched all the way through, go ahead and say formulas rock when you walk in tomorrow, and I will give you 10 raffle tickets. So there's an opportunity to get 15 raffle tickets if you can remember all the little hints from today's lesson. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. And